Hello, welcome to our discussion on Photoshop preferences. To find preferences, go up to Edit, click on it, and scroll all the way to the bottom down here. And then notice real quick that we do have an access to camera raw preferences here as well. But we're really concerned right now with Photoshop preferences, and we're going to click this General tab to bring up this dialog box. Alright. Okay, we don't change a lot, or I don't change a lot through here. It's something that I like most of the defaults. They work just fine, but there are a few things that I do change. One of the things, you can take a look to see how I have things set up here, but one of the things that is very, very handy, it comes checked off, is a zoom with scroll wheel. I turn that on. I want to be able to, if I want to zoom in to a scene, I want to roll my scroll wheel forward on my mouse, and then if I want to zoom out, I want to roll my scroll wheel backwards to zoom in and out. I think that is just slick, so that's something you want to do. In here, these are my other settings that I usually use. Won't get into all the details, there's no point in doing that. At this point in time, so let's see, interface. If you're wanting to change your colors, you know, for your interface colors, your boxes and your backgrounds, you can do that here. Again, I find the defaults just fine, so I don't do anything here. The only thing I do is at the very bottom, I choose as large as font size as possible. Getting old. File handling. I don't think I set anything up here any different than the way it comes in with defaults. Alright. Performance. You can do a little bit here. I set my history status to 20 and my cache level to 6. I have no cooperation with my my video card, so the GPU is not set up here. If your card and Photoshop are happy together, then you can enable OpenGL drawing. Just be careful, at least with some Macs, when you do that, then you have potential other problems with cropping tools and that sort of thing. So anyway, I don't use it. It's not something that I think us as landscape photographers need to use. We don't need to be throwing images and watching them glide around. That's it's cool, but it's not really necessary. Alright, what else do we do? Photoshop's going to tell you how much RAM it thinks you have, and it'll tell you a range. Always try to set that up towards the high end of the range. And then if you have more than one hard drive on your computer, which we have here, make the scratch disk the, oh, isn't that nice? Make the scratch disk the hard drive that the Photoshop program does not reside on. So for example, here, Photoshop on my computer here resides on my C drive. So I have my scratch disk set up on my D drive. The scratch disk is basically an area where Photoshop runs in there, clears out a big area and says, aha, if I have too large of files, or if I need a lot more room to work because the RAM is not big enough, I'm going to go in here on this hard drive and do a lot of calculations over here. So that's the performance tab. Cursors, I do nothing here. I do nothing here. Units and rulers, do nothing here. We kind of said we weren't going to do much here. And again, I don't do anything here either. Type, the only thing I do is, again, down here, go ahead and choose those huge ones because I think I need it. That is the Preference tab. Now, go ahead and click OK when you're done making whatever changes you make. They may not apply immediately. You may have to close Photoshop and open Photoshop up again for the settings to apply and for you to see the effects. Okay, so that is the Photoshop preferences. See you next time.